Hi, Amanda here. Thanks for stopping by. The layout that we're doing today, I'm really excited for. So hopefully you'll remember as you watch the video, if you like it, to give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss anything. This is I think the fourth layout in the series I'm doing of trying to get the photos that have been uncovered while moving and everything else, or the ones that have been printed. I haven't printed anything since 2013. And all the layouts that I have done, or these are from the Craft with Heart subscription, and because of moving a couple times, I also haven't done these. So I grabbed those photos. I don't know if you saw in the beginning, there were some from, both of them are of my husband's senior year. One of them is from his senior trip when they went to Toronto, and they were at the Tower. And then the other one is from senior prom. So I'm just going through my Craft with Heart kits and seeing if there's any kits coloring that will work with either set of the prints. And I pulled out one, and then I'm just going through, and what I'm looking for is to find layouts that work with the colors of the photos I have. I'm not worried about the size of the photos, the composition, any of that. I'm just looking at the photo colors and if they'll work with what I have. So this one's kind of neutral, and I'm realizing if I add some blue, that these colors kind of work with the dated photos. These are from the late 80s. So I'm going to bundle these up and take all of the components that go with this layout, and I'll put them in an envelope. And then I actually end up finding photos as well, or photos. I find a Craft with Heart layout that'll work with the Toronto photos, but I'll save that for when I actually create that Toronto tower layout. So that was the instructions for what the suggested layout should look like. And now I'm just kind of going to dry fit things. I'm going to put my photos out. I'm referring to the picture of the original design, and putting my photos in to just see how I want to make them work. And you will see I will move these photos around multiple times before we get to the end. But I'm really pleased with the end result, and I'm hoping to give you kind of my mindset as we walk through it, and maybe that will help you take a look at your photos and getting them into Craft with Heart or into any layout. So these stickers that came with it, I'm looking to see where they go on it, and they show these brown stripes that go behind the main photo that's on the left page. I want to have the couple that's framed by all of the banners on my main page as the focal one. So I'm just trying to find the right color blue or teal that goes with my husband's date's dress. And I think maybe her name was Sophia. I don't know. No, Sonia. Her name was Sonia. And so I found this lagoon paper, and it's just a little too green. It's the right tone, but in real life it just needs to be a little bluer. So I took Bluebell, and I just brushed some of it onto a scrap, as you can see, and it works really well. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut the matting for the picture, and I've cut it, and now I'm just showing you how I'm inking the edges. And I don't have to do the whole card because the photo is going to cover most of the mat anyhow. But I'm just going through and brushing on some of the Bluebell ink, and it just changes the tone of the Lagoon cardstock enough that it works really beautifully with the photos. And I don't have to change that cardstock color when it's away from the photo, only when it's right next to it. So here we go. I'm now looking at, I want this photo to be prominent, and so I'm going to double mat it and give it a bigger frame, kind of give it some weight, some heaviness to it. So that's why I pulled out the black. In hindsight, I wonder if a dark brown would have worked for me, but I don't really have a good dark brown. And if you've watched my other videos, I'm not a big person that enjoys sponging the edges of, or not sponging, well, sponging or brushing the edges of cardstock. That's just not something I enjoy doing a lot of. So I didn't want to have another cardstock that I needed to add color to. So in my laziness. But I'm just cutting the rest of the photos down, again, working with the placements, really trying to see what's going to work, what isn't going to work. The one table that has like the adults at it that's currently on the right page is actually the chaperones table. And the people that are on the left-hand side are the neighbors of my husband's growing up. And when we moved to the farm, they were our neighbors and actually still live there. So it was kind of cool that we recognized people, or I recognized people from his senior prom chaperone table. So this is where the designer originally wanted these strips of brown to go behind the main layout. With the old photos, because the flash really washes out the people and it darkens everything in the background, those white edges from the photo paper really stood out to me. So I take a Sharpie marker, and the reason why I use a Sharpie marker to color the edges is it doesn't come off then on my hands or on my project later. It's a permanent marker, it stays on it. You'll also notice that I always have the photo above the marker so that if I slip off the edge, I'm only writing on the back of the photo, I'm not writing on the front of it. So I've taken all of the embellishments, the die cuts that came with the kit for this layout, and I'm just spreading them out on the page. I've decided that I needed to add some of that lagoon color throughout the page, not just in the couple photo mats that I did. So all of the roses will have those big leaves attached to it, and I needed some ribbon for the tags. Well, as I was looking for the ribbon for the tags, I found those little lacy rosettes, and they're perfect for this page. So I got the lagoon ribbon, and I'm going to use that on the tags, and I think I also put it on the journaling block to kind of have that on both sides of the page. But I also am going to use those rosettes to really help give some dimension to the rest of the flowers. I had one non-silver or non-colored paper clip in my drawer, and I just thought how cool it would be to actually have a real paper clip there instead of just the illusion of one. So you'll see that I added that. That didn't come with the kit. That was from my desk drawer. And again, I do dry embossing of flowers and shapes just to give them some dimension. These flowers here actually turn out really good. You kind of push from the back, you push the petals up, and then you push the center down, and it just gives it kind of a bowl shape, but brings it to life. And if you haven't seen me do with the small leaves again, those again just really bring a lot of interest. So what I've done is I've shaped all of the flowers that came with the kit. I've cut apart and added all of the rosettes from the ribbon, along with the stickers of the wheat, the grain stalks, and I just kind of put them into piles around the layout so that I was separating them, and the roses were divided because those are the ones that have the color in them. And then I realized if I moved my feature photo up, it covered that old title that really didn't work for me in the prom photos. So I'm going to use my Cricut, and you're going to see the word senior prom that show up in the lagoon color right under our feature photo. And I'm really, it's okay, this is starting to come together. So these tags kind of get moved over to the other page. I'm auditioning them different places. I thought I'd want it up there, but that was just too much. So if you kind of look, you're getting a little bit of the lagoon in the bottom corner. It sweeps you across the left page going into the right page. I noticed before I glued down the pictures that on the right hand page there's a small lagoon mat behind the couple in the upper left corner and a bigger lagoon mat behind Sonia by herself, and they're too close to each other and they need to be split up. So I will take care of that later. And now I'm starting to go ahead and assemble some of the pages, some of the embellishment blocks and clusters. And it's funny, I found that I was using multiple types of glue, and I laugh at myself at that. because really there was no need to use, big glue dots, little glue dots, plus the art glitter glue. And some of it, I really enjoyed the big glue dots on the ribbon roses, those creamy roses, because those just sometimes don't work well with adhesive runner or even with liquid glue, but the glue dots on those is perfect. It gives it a really nice solid base. I use the liquid glue on just the stems of these gold punched leaf, I don't know, sprigs, I guess you would call them. Or, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at sprigs. So I just tuck those in. And the gold isn't really adding a color, but it's kind of the same tone as all of the browns and the antiquing. And because it's prom, who doesn't want to add gold? So that's what I did. So I did the first cluster on the left page upper corner. Now I'm going to do the bottom corner. And I find after I start that I really should have glued the title down first, because I end up, it's in my way and I'm not sure how far I can go with some of the stickers and some of the embellishments without encroaching too much on the title. So what I will do next is adhere those letters down. And it's a matter of, for me, when creating a cluster like this of embellishments, it's just a matter of if you're going to have threes, or if you're going to have a direction for it. Like this, I wanted to kind of as an anchor of the corner of the page. And so that's exactly how I set it up, was that it kind of looks like a corner spray. And then you just kind of tuck things in. You keep things balanced by, if you have two flowers, you either put them next to each other or you split them up so that one's on either side, and just kind of have fun with it. So now I'm going to show you on the lettering. I use my ruler to bump up all the letters, and then I'll pull the ruler back down, and using the grid line on the sheet, on the pattern paper, it'll make sure that that's straight. But by using my ruler to push everything up, then it just gives me room to work. And I'm not going to make you watch me put down every letter, but that's how Senior Prom came out. And I've glued everything down on the left page, so now we're going to the right page. And this is, I think, where I realize that I need to swap out the two photos. I need to rearrange them that have the Lagoon mat behind it, because there's just, it's not eye appealing. So I tried that way, didn't really like it. So now I'm going to switch those around. And you'll notice that I put some higher than the others. And some of that is just, if you do a grid pattern, that's fine. But because my photos are not the same sizes, a grid wouldn't work. And it would kind of feel off and uncomfortable to our eye. So by making it not a grid, but kind of having similar spacing between things, and then having the embellishments encroach upon the photos, it naturally allows you, it kind of gives permission for it to be asymmetrical instead of symmetrical, and it also carries your eye from one element to the next. So that's kind of my goal, is to have a flow to my layouts and also be beautiful and tell a story. I did show my husband this layout when it was done, and I showed him the picture from the original, and he was really impressed. He's like, wow, this is really good. And again, he'll do some journaling. We'll add some dates to this and talk about other things as well. But I'm just kind of using up all the different embellishments. I had decided that there was only a few stickers left, and I would go ahead and incorporate those, because with just the few that were left, I didn't think that it would make that it would be useful for another embellishment on another page. There just wasn't enough for that. So I'm just tucking in the few extra stickers, and then these came with the kit. And I slowed the camera down, or the speed down, just so that you could kind of look at the layout a little bit more. So this one says beautiful. I think there's a happy, I don't remember what the other one is, but again, by having two on the right page and then one on the left page, I've made that triangle of that same item again, which just kind of gives some comfort. It speaks, your brain can process it easier, I guess, is what I've been taught. So this was the original, what they did, and then you can see here what I did with it. And I think the lagoon ribbon, the leaves for the roses and the lagoon, it tied it in without being too much. So if there's some other videos that you might be interested in this series, they're here. Otherwise, have a great day, and if you want to see more or don't want to miss anything, remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Have a blessed day. Bye.